Hey everyone, finally getting around to round 2 of questions and stuff that I didn't get answered on the first video. So first thing up was what sticks do I use and why do I use stick grips? So I just recently switched companies to a local Australian company called Ibbotson Drums, and they make, well, they pretty much cater for metal drummers and stuff, which is really cool. They sort of saw that there was a gap in the market for metal players and stuff like that, and thought, well, that's what we've got to do. And I know Paulie from years ago, great drummer, really top dude, and he just thought, well, I'm going to address that situation and make sticks for metal players. So he sent me some, and he sent me some stick grips as well, and I was like, I don't know, that's kind of gimmicky, blah, blah, blah. I'll give them a go. And anyway, so I put them on and did a whatever 9-10 hour day in the studio here tracking. And usually by the end of it, you know, your hands are a bit beat up and stuff. And I had these on and I'm like, wow, hands feel great. Didn't have to grip quite as hard and just took out some of the shock coming back through the stick. So yeah, I love them. Now I've just think they really save your hands and allow me to work longer, get more out of it, and yeah, less strain on your body, which is great for this sort of stuff because, you know, it's pretty full on. So yeah, Ibbotson Drums, I think he's called them fish sticks, which is like the South Park joke, so which is really funny. Check them out, and they're cheap too. They're not like stupid Vic Firth prices and, you know, Promark and stuff like that. Because he knows that metal dudes have no money. So yeah, check them out. Another question was, why did I switch to doubles from singles and how long did it take? So when I started doing studio stuff and getting tracks from bands all over the world, and a lot of it was program drums and a lot of it was stupid fast or really tricky stop-start sort of stuff. And the problem with singles is they have a very high maintenance rate. You have to do a lot of work to keep them to a certain point. And you have to do a lot of work to warm up to get to that point before you can start pulling it off properly. Like, I know mates of mine, when they're in the studio, they'll stop for lunch, but they'll just have to sit on them and keep their feet moving to stay warmed up in between sessions and stuff. And with doubles, you don't have to do that. I can literally just sit down now, do maybe two minutes or a minute of just, you know, getting the blood flowing and stuff, and then I'm ready to go. So it's just an efficiency thing. Time is money in the studio, so you want to be able to be as efficient and streamlined as possible. So doubles is the way to go for that. I still do obviously singles on my hands, but that's something you can work on at home at night, watching Netflix. You have a pad out and just, you know, just sit there and just keep your hands ticking over. But feet's a bit harder. I find I need pedals to work on it and improve. So I started out by just doing, like everyone, I absolutely sucked at doubles. And I just do 10 minutes in my practice regime every day of just not fast, anything, not to a tempo or a click, just getting the movement down and the action down. And I do 10 minutes of that with a groove over top, and then I go and do all my other stuff. And then I was still deciding whether I use them or not, and I tracked a bomb blast for a section, which is 16th double kicks under a blast. And I tracked it using singles, and then I was like, oh, I'm just not getting it locking in enough. So I thought, oh, I'll try it with doubles. It's still not very good, but I'll give it a go. Did it with doubles, and I was like, oh wow, that sounds like a proper bomb blast. So I didn't drop any notes and stuff like that. So that was sort of like, all right, doubles work. I'm just going to do them now for all the faster stuff. So yeah, it's just an efficiency thing, and getting the most out. Oh yeah, the most out with the least input. Just being smart about it. So yeah, and it took me a couple of years to get them to a point where I was happy with it. Just working on it in the background sort of thing, and then slowly transitioning for live shows. I'll try doubles here for a bit, see how it goes, you know, just gauge it, see how it felt. why do I practice to pop songs, or why do I post videos of pop songs all the time? If you work at McDonald's all day, the last thing you want to do is go home and have a hamburger. So if I'm doing metal tracks all day, listening to angry boys yelling at me and guitars and shit, when I want to practice, I don't need that. And I just want something happy to listen to while I bust out some endurance runs and stuff like that. The other thing is, when you practice to metal, you have this white noise in your headphones of distorted guitars and kicks flying and stuff, and I can't actually hear over top of all of that if I'm locking in, if I'm dropping notes, if I'm playing up. So pop songs are basically a drum beat and a vocal line and a bit of stuff in the background, so there's heaps of room for me to hear myself, to make sure I'm really locking in, and phrasing and timing and stuff, because it's verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. You can work on fill ideas and lead up ideas and building and dynamics and stuff like that over a basic structure of a song. So yeah, the pop songs are just perfect, and the metronome is just too boring. Just hearing beep, boop, boop, boop. There's nothing to work with. No emotional, reaction to a metronome. So pop songs are perfect. So I scroll through Google and find a heap of songs at certain tempos and make playlists, and I'll just do all my endurance and technique training exercises over top of them. It's great fun. People think I'm being gimmicky and oh, what are you doing that for? No, it's practice. That's all it is. And if you don't like it, well, whatever, you can go and watch something else. Do I edit my drum takes? No. Anything you hear I post is just what I've played. And there's heaps of videos with me, stuffing up and dropping sticks and triggers misfiring and, hitting rims and stuff. It's just, the videos I'll put up are just of me practicing. I'm never going, oh, today I'm going to make a video for the internet. It's just, I don't have time for that. I've just got everything mic'd up all the time, so I just throw a camera up, hit record while I'm practicing. Yep, that'll do. And then at the end of the day, I'll just edit it together and throw it up online last thing. So there's no real thought into it or anything. It's just like, oh, hit record. Yep, that's fun. Done. So yeah, there's no editing done. I don't have time for that. When I'm tracking jobs, I don't edit anything. Everything is completely raw. Maybe if I get some feedback from the artist I'm working for, oh, this snare sounds a little bit late, I might just go in, cut that snare and move it a millisecond back onto the grid. But that's pretty much the extent of it. Or maybe if there's a trigger misfire in an obvious place and I know the artist is going to be like, oh, what's up with the double kick there? I'll just put, cut that and put that in. But most of the time, if it's not right, I'll do it again properly. Because the amount of time you spend editing, you could have just deleted that take, played it again, played it better, and be proud of what you've tracked, instead of going in and trying fixing things and stuff. So better performance at the source and less editing later. So that's my motto. How does the session stuff work with overseas and stuff like that? So it's really simple. The artist will just send me either a demo or sometimes I've tracked to full albums. I've retracked drums that they weren't happy with, so they've got rid of the original drums and I've done drums for them on top of a full album. Sometimes I just have a click track and a guitar guide, really rough, and then all different variances in between that. Sometimes it's nearly finished without vocals, blah blah blah. But yeah, I just get them to send me the track, send me the click or a tempo map, and I just drop that tempo map in, so any changes in tempo and stuff, it's already automatically written into the file. And I just track drums, bounce out a quick take, email it back. What do you think of this? Here's some changes I've made. And either they're like, yep, that's fantastic, love it, thank you, or oh, if maybe we could just change this fill, blah blah blah. And it's just back and forth. Communicating online is always tricky. So you can do voice messages, you can do Skype, etc. But yeah, as long as you're happy to listen carefully to what they say and work with them, there's never any issue. So I don't think I've had any problems with communication, which has been really good. So it's just a matter of being able to read what they're trying to say in an email and figure out what they're actually trying to say. Some jobs take longer than others. Some people are more picky. Some people are happy for me to do my thing, which is what I usually get hired for, is we need drums, we want you to do your thing on it. And then, you know, that's always great fun because you just play drums and write drums. So, and then some people are like, I want note for note, but that, I'm like, I rarely take those jobs because they're just a pain in the ass. And if you want note for note, just use the program drums. If they're already how you want them, there's no real point getting me. So yeah, that's session work. And then I'll, just bounce them all down, send them back over. The jobs are usually around a couple of gig of files. And I just send them back. They get sent to whatever session or whatever studio they're working on, and off they go. So yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I've got it pretty streamlined now, and it works really well. So practice. What do I practice? What's my practice regime? So I'm at the point now where it's just sort of all the hard yards have been done over the years, building muscles and reflex and, you know, balance and, you know, technique. Now it's just maintaining it. So that means just keeping muscles in shape and keeping balance, because you can lose the feel and the balance if you don't do it often enough. And you notice it straight away if you don't play for a couple of weeks or something, or you don't practice for a couple of weeks, you're just doing session work. When you go back to do some, you know, runs and stuff, single strokes, you're like, oh man. So it comes and goes. I'll put on a practice pad, one of those Remo ones that you can tune. I've got it tuned right down. And I'll do, on my hands, I'll start off with doubles and paradiddles that lock in with my feet. I'll be doing doubles on my feet the whole time and switch between doubles and paradiddles, 200 to 220 BPM for about 5 minutes. Then I'll do singles at 200 BPM, locking in with my feet. So singles on my hand, doubles on my feet. I'll try and hold it for like 8-10 minutes, see how I go. Eventually I start dropping sticks and stuff. Like my body's like, nope, you've had enough, and the stick just goes whee. So then I'm like, all right, fine, stretch, blah blah blah. Then 220 BPM for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then 260, just doing, you know, a couple of bars each hand, just to get the technique, finger technique, really in control and stuff. And then I'll load up all my pop tunes and just run through them, do a heap of stuff. And then as far as all the other practice, groove and timing and stuff like that, I'll open up Spotify and just run a quick indie pop music playlist, and just play groove while doing feet underneath it, you know, patterns, doubles, singles, paradiddles and stuff like that. So yeah, that's every maybe 3 times a week or something like that, 2 times a week, depending on how busy I am. Yeah, so that should be about it, I think, for now. If you've got any more questions, let me know. I think I covered them all. I've got them written on my hand. So yeah. All right, cheers. I'll catch you later.